Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First Minister's Questions, the first one of the new year. With me, Phil Attridge, ex-councillor, Stuart Lockheed, bon vivant,
Bon vivant.
and myself. Well, nothing particularly outstanding today, gentlemen. What did you think of Joanne?
Joanne, I thought the delivery was better. The content was, again, I was hoping for something. It was, he said, she said, you throw a figure, I'll throw a figure backwards and forwards. Some basic dishonesty and all that about, Salmond is right that they've maintained their spend, which they were committed to, which Labour wouldn't commit themselves to. But nobody actually mentioned the reason why they're up the proverbial creek, and that's probably the amount of money all these health services are forking out to Labour's little pet called the PFI. And I certainly didn't agree with Joanne's assumptions about Nicola Sturgeon, who...
they're right.
It's getting personalised. It's she can't have a go at Sam says it's that personalising all the time.
Well, it seemed to me that was a tactic. Now we'll switch to attacking Nicola Sturgeon, because she's now she's now the star turn, the female star turn, the woman's voter and all the rest of it. So that's it looked like a deliberate tactic.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think the other thing is there have been problems. There's been overcrowding. Lack of staff out of Livingston, things like that. They're not wrong in highlighting them. It's their job as opposition. But that was the outstanding thing I thought about Joanne today. I thought her delivery was good.
Yep.
But they've obviously just decided to go for the potential head. I still have this sneaky theory that Salmond's going to resign. Let them attack him. Maybe they're thinking the same thing.
No,
It's certainly a big dig at Nicola.
Look, it's a bit like the NHS is a bit like a stick in a pig. It's always going to be there. It's always going to have faults. It's enormous. You know what I mean? It's not a case of, it's very difficult to, any government can't hide the health service away. The health service is always a key concern of every voter.
Yeah, and also
it's always a topic.
Yeah, because we've got a growing ageing population, which will need more use of the NHS. We still insist on numerous unhealthy habits amongst most of the population as regards their diet, the drink and everything else, lack of exercise, so you will use it. But there is also that, I'm surprised that Salmond, or the SNP, Salmond didn't bring that up, about PFI. The new Royal Infirmary, they're going to get around £1 billion odd pounds for that when they spent 160 million building it. The NHS is getting ripped off by these creatures that Labour invented.
Well, if you're want to bring up PFI, last week there was a fantastic documentary about the Skye Bridge, which was the very first PFI contract in Scotland, and how it was financed by the Bank of America, and however, the whole story from Robbie the Pitt's involvement right through. Did you see it?
No, missed it.
Oh, and there was quite a talk about it the next day on the usual Twitter sphere.
And how much did they end up paying for it then?
I don't know.
Are they still paying for it?
I think they paid 40 million for it when it could have been only about, it need only have cost 16 or something. So.
Well, somebody opens a bag and says, like in America, it's classic, the way they want to privatise everything. Here's all the taxpayers' money and all the vultures. Parasites.
Anyway, I'm not so sure, but Joanne's performance, I thought, it was steady as it goes.
I thought she did well this week. I really do. As I say, she seemed to stay off the notes.
Yeah, apart from that last one.
End.
Yeah, it's right at the end. It's very good.
And it's something she obviously cares about. There was a bit of passion there. She's never going to be a great orator, but I thought she did well by her own standards.
It was a bit less finger pointing.
Yeah. And there was real passion there in defence of the health service employees. She did state she wasn't having to go at the employees, she was having to go at the government, which is exactly what she should be doing. But we go on to...
that's her function. Yeah. What about Ruthie then?
Ruth, I thought the delivery was fine, serious, humorless. She's really started to get humorless. She's better off being a bit more jokey. But again, it's playing with figures, you know, on these community payback orders. I mean, and the Tories are obsessed, you know. I mean, what's the next thing? Put them in striped uniforms with balls round their legs, you know, bright orange or pink.
Well, I
or
mean,
something.
she is a Tory. That is essentially what they want.
But in the end, when you're looking at
Send them to Australia.
the,
Oh, I have-
the levels of crime,
I'm sorry, I think-
the
I
level
think-
of reoffending.
I think she picked a reasonable topic. It
Yeah.
is a Tory topic. Justice always is. Unfortunately for her, as Salmon quite pointed out, crime has never been so low in most people's
And that
lifetimes.
is the whole idea of because with the Tories are obsessed with punishment. Well, unless you actually kill the people that create these crimes, they're
I'm
still going to
sorry.
be there. So you actually have to try and rehabilitate them,
I'm
and
sorry,
it's obviously
Phil.
worked.
I'm sorry, Phil. No. Tories are obsessed with punishing
Oh,
anybody
yeah,
that's
yeah.
on less than 100,000 a year.
Yeah.
Anybody on more than 100,000 a year can
Gets a
do
reward.
exactly what they want.
Absolutely, they can run the country into the ground by robbing the banks.
Yeah, robbing us, robbing
us.
everybody, you know.
Absolutely. No,
what-
I thought she did. Her performance was quite. Well, you know, I think she was fairly. She's always pretty competent, really, Ruth. Because she was bear in mind, she was a television reporter. So I mean, she knows her stuff when
Well-
it comes to appearing in front.
And
of
you'll
the
always get a job in a wee old Tory club anyway. So.
What I find quite funny is Simon doesn't answer her questions at all now. He just sits down again and lets her answer her question for him.
Yeah. Well,
You know, and that's becoming samey.
I must admit, I didn't think.
That's becoming
well,
silly.
there again, she Salmon. I don't think had it the best of days.
no.
You know, we are waiting for one of these snappy answers where he just says no, or you know, back to the last FMQs before Christmas, and he actually, you know, finally attacked back, you know,
Aye.
and put down Joanne Lamont.
I don't know, he's lost his sparkle.
Xanodyne is that the word you would call it?
No, he's saying he's lost his sparkle. You're right.
I don't know what it is, maybe he's just tired. Maybe he's just tired. Well, seeing as we're on, Alex, what did you think?
Not that impressed. I mean, it just kept on going. I mean, it was like a tourist board advertiser towards the end there, you know. I mean, the CNN, well, so what? Communist News Network, they call it in parts of America. But
I felt like, and before the break as well, I think he's just getting frustrated. I think he's just...
it wasn't impressive. It wasn't bad, but there was just...
No, he just seemed... I mean, he seemed like he just wanted to go, stupid, and sit down. You know?
It's samey. I know that's a very not a very erudite word to use, but it was just samey. There was just nothing,
nothing there.
to sparkle in the whole event.
Well, the back bench stuff was actually better than any of the front bench stuff.
What's that?
Although, no, be fair to Joanne, I do think her performance was the best of the three of them today.
But he did have one nice sparkle. You could see that because I seen the glint of the knife when he pulled it out and stuck it straight into Alistair Darling. That was the one, which is well. I mean, I think
You've
that's
got to
actually
bear in mind that Salmon's own voting record as an MP was pretty poor.
Yeah, it was an English Parliament.
Yeah, but this is the ex Chancellor that was in there. You know, one of those that just, you know, as it says, you know,
Yeah, but he did right.
Going down with his
Salmon did say he was going around Scotland scaring the people.
And also, what they went up on Tuesday, there was always that chance, very fake one, but always that chance that the Liberals might actually develop some kind of integrity and principle and actually vote against it. Sorry,
you're talking about the London vote.
Yeah, but he never turned up. He just didn't bother because he was too busy going around being a fudmonger.
Well,
Fear, uncertainty, and doubt.
Absolutely.
What was interesting today, though, I thought with Alex was he did get every point he needed he wanted in. He got the fact he'd been cleared.
He's been cleared
He
of
got
any
the fact
wrongdoing in the EU debate.
But he did it in a
He's been
non-spark.
cleared again.
He got his knife into Darling. You know, I mean, everything that they wanted to bring up, they brought up. You know, so from that point of view, but I suppose in a way there was a lot of things that the opposition parties weren't going to mention. They didn't want to open the door for him.
Aye, I suppose so.
You know,
That's true. Yeah.
not an inspiring FMQs this
No,
week.
not really.
No, I mean there was the bit about, you know, with the new police service. Well, he said, and he said. Well, he said. Oh, they're not getting. Oh, now they are getting on. Or that they're going to try and get on.
I have to say I agree with what Alison McInnes the Lib Dem one, when she brought out this the job description, and you can't get away from the job description. You know, this new chief constable was going to be full control of everything. But the chair of the authority, they're obviously thinking that, I think they did make a strategic error, and I think it can be probably laid at McCaskill's door. I'm not keen on McCaskill's approach to justice.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure about him. I'm with you on this. I think there's a weakness there.
I'm not actually.
Publicly, he's very good. I mean, when he stands up,
McCaskill.
He does deliver well. But I do think
he's too close to.
I think there's a policy.
I think he's too close to the establishment through his. He was a lawyer. He was a senior.
Well, he's taken them on with the.
I don't think it's that. I think it might even be the opposite way, because you know, as well, everybody thinks that, you know, these ministers they can do what they like. Well, they don't. It's subjected to the cabinet in a way, and I think, well, McCaskill, in some things, I think he just plays safe, really.
I have to, but I actually don't agree with the centralisation of the police service, but we'll have to wait.
Well, because if you have one police service and one centre, well, who investigates that?
I think it could be a great idea, a really bad idea. If they're on our side when the revolution comes, it's a great idea. Otherwise, it's not a good idea.
Is it one police service in Southern Ireland? You know.
I have no idea.
Well, you've got the Garda. The Garda's the Garda.
It's just one police
service. To be honest with you, it is a bit ridiculous.
Having loads of them.
It's about continuity and delivering the same standard of, you know, decision making. I mean, you go to Glasgow, you're getting searched. In Edinburgh, very rarely. You know, so there is the idea of having the same policing for the country.
Well, if you have
whether you want, my problem is, you know, there's too many Labour councils and you're all bloody incompetent as far as I'm concerned. You shouldn't be running police or fire boards, that's for sure.
The trouble with Scotland, I mean, it's the least democratic country in Europe when it comes to actually having representation. And having one police service, it's fine to set standards throughout, but then it's having...
Well, politically, it's wrong.
Because you've got devolution within that service as well that deals with Glasgow type.
It depends on who's pulling the strings. That's the bottom line.
Do you know that at the moment there's a tendency, this is what I don't like, there is a tendency in this SNP government, which probably isn't any different from the previous Labour and Lib Dem government, is to centralise everything, and I mean everything, including, apparently having 32 councils is too many. Now, not according to comparisons across Europe.
No, we're obsessed with centralisation.
Absolutely.
The UK is the most obsessed. We are obsessed
What
with
we're obsessed with is paying people to be on community councils and so on. That's what we're obsessed with. Most of Europe, most of the politicians at local level aren't paid.
Oh, you don't get paid to be a community councillor.
Well, no, that's community councils. But, I mean, our councillors are paid, and they'll be thinking about the bill. They won't be thinking about the democracy of it.
Well, I'm going to start scoring here, because we're wandering away here. I'm going to give Alex a pretty low score this week. I'm just going to give him a 5. I don't think he was very good at all. I mean, he made 2 or 3. There were easy points, you know, announcements about Visit Scotland and CNN. Ruthie, same old, same old. She wore a push-up bra and showed a bit of cleavage. Why do women do that in public life? I don't know. I'll give her a 3. And Joanne Lamont, she's steady as she goes, so I'll give her a 5.
Phil?
I'll start off with Ruth. Yeah, she was not particularly interesting, but I'll give her 2. 2.
Doesn't usually go negative on Ruth.
That isn't even twice as much as he usually gives her, because 2 times 0 is 0.
Yeah, well, it's New Year, New resolution. Be more understanding. I mean, I'm sorry, it's like deprived kids. She can't help in being the opposite way around. Then you've got Joanne. Yeah, I thought she did a very good delivery. Yeah, because it was confident and it was looking at you, and it was coming from there, a lot of it. So yeah, and I'll give her 7.
Wow! Excuse me. I'm shocked. Anyway, yes.
No. Because
After a job in the Labour Party.
No. I'm giving her a
If you
7
gave,
because
if you gave Ruth 2, you had to give.
yeah.
Okay, sure.
And Salmon, yeah, he got in a few digs. There's a bit more he could have done. He looked tired, so I'll actually give Salmon the 7 as well. Then I'll give them evens. You know, I thought they were. Yeah, I thought.
See, now that's interesting because you both scored Lamont and Lamont and Salmon the same.
Because I think
So
the actual
I'm the tiebreaker here.
You're the tiebreaker.
yeah, the score's irrelevant. I think it's you know it is that it's the difference between them is what's important, not the score. I mean,
Ruthie, I thought she did all right. She did open the door for Salmon to start quoting the stats about everybody's happier with crime.
Oh, crime.
Less unhappy. I
Yeah, well,
suppose.
crime's the lowest in 30 years.
I'm going to
She always opens the door.
I'm going to give her a 4.
Doing well, this.
you can only open the door when you're a Tory because there's not really much you can say positive, is there?
Joanne, I thought she did well this week, and I'm going to give her a 7. Yeah, I didn't like the attack on Sturgeon. They've obviously just redirected their exercise. Alex, I was lacklustre. Got his points in, did the job, but didn't he look happy in doing the job? You know.
Too many parties over the New Year,
No,
maybe?
I'm only going to give him a 5.
Oh, so Joanne.
Too many cake, too many pies,
Too many.
Too many curry pies.
too many curry pies.
I don't know. He needs to up his game again. Mm-hmm. So what have we got? We've got 19, 9, and 17. Ruth was last.
Mm-hmm.
Alex was in the middle, and Joanne was at the
The winner
top.
today, yeah.
Well done, Joanne Lawrence. You finally topped the poll.
But I'm actually taking 2 off her for the personal attack, so it's a draw.
Oh, well,
Okay?
Well, I
For
think-
not being positive.
that's fair enough.
But I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. But if next week it's attack Nicola Sturgeon, then it's oh dear, it's going to be just another boring year of personal attacks.
The truth of it is there is only Nicola and Kenny McCaskill, Nicola and Alex.
Mike Russell, another heavyweight. Education's another one you can usually get your. Actually, no, there's by omission. The fact that education wasn't mentioned at all, you're left thinking, well, has this not big? This it was a long attack all through the autumn into the college about cuts to the college sector. In other words, the money was going to the university sector and being cut from the college sector. It would appear that attack has fizzled out. There's no, because, sometimes it's what's not said that matters.
I think they'll come back to it.
Okay.
Thank you, gentlemen.
We also have the reaction of Labour activist Duncan Hollersall. Due to some technical difficulties, I will read out his comments. I asked Duncan what was his overall impression of today's FMQs. He answered, "We had a reasonably calm one. There were good attempts to hold the executive to account, which is what it's meant to be about. I think there was too much bluster and evasion in response, which is more or less par for the course. I thought it was quite interesting that the first reference to independence, again, was from an SNP MSP. Jenny Mara, I thought, was very strong. A really good question. Just unfortunate that the model of First Minister's questions is for the First Minister to bluster in answer. That said, it was a reasonable start to the year." I then asked Duncan to score them for performance. I think Joanne was very measured, very clear, a wee bit too personal. She went for the slightly ad hominem attack. I'd prefer a bit more focus on policy and not personality. I'll give her 7 out of 10. Alex gets 10 out of 10 for avoidance and 0 out of 10 for answering. He's very good at scoring points, but I wish he'd used the opportunity for being held to account to answer the question. I think 5 is fair. Ruth? I think she got a hard time because the question she asked was perhaps a little bit unexciting and uninspiring, but it was very clear, very direct, and it put Salmon on the spot. I think she did pretty well, actually. I'll give her 7.5.